In this video, we'll discuss what it means for two angles to be coterminal. Coterminal is a term to describe two angles that start and end in the same position. So each of these angles are going to start at 0 degrees, but then they're going to end in at the same location if they're coterminal. So let's take a look at this first one. I'm going to graph out both of these angles, the 720 and the 370, excuse me, and the 10-degree angle, and see where they end up. So if I do the 370-degree angle, it's going to go a little bit past the 360 degrees. If I do the 10-degree angle, it's just right here to start off of the 0. Now both of these have the same reference angle in the same quadrant, because what's left over on this first one is 10 degrees past a full rotation of 360. The reference angle on the second one is 10 degrees as well, because that's how far away from the x-axis is. So if we're asking if these angles are coterminal, the answer is yes, they are, because they have the same reference angle in the same quadrant. So if we look at the second one, if I look at the graph of both of these, 360 degrees would be a full revolution, but then we are 90 degrees past that. So that would end me on the positive y-axis for 450 degrees. A 740-degree angle would go 2 full revolutions around to get to 720. Then I'm going to go a little bit more to get to 740. Now if I look at these reference angles are definitely not the same. For this first one, I'd have a reference angle of 90 degrees. The second one, I have a reference angle of 20 degrees. So these are not coterminal. To be coterminal, I need to start at the 0, which they all do, but then end in the same location with the same reference angle, which the first pair of 370 and 10 did, second pair of 450 and 740 did not. So let's take a look at another one. If we were to graph each of these pairs, pi over 4, if we were to convert this, would be 45 degrees. So if I draw this out, 45 would put me in this first quadrant going up to the right. A 135-degree angle, on the other hand, would go on the left side here and go up to the left. Now, if I look at these reference angles, the reference angle here is 45 degrees because it's 45 degrees away from the closest x-axis. This reference angle is also 45 degrees. However, just because they have the same reference angle does not mean that they're coterminal. They must have the same reference angle in the same quadrant. So where the pi over 4 or the 45-degree angle is in that upper right, in quadrant 1, the 135-degree angle is in the second quadrant in the upper left. So I would have to say no, these are not coterminal, even though they have the same reference angle. Let's try one last one here. Let's draw our negative angle and our positive angle. So a negative 20 degrees, I could say, comes down here, and that would be our negative 20-degree ending point. A 340 degree is going to be just shy of 360 degrees. So if I look at the reference angles on each of these, I have a 20-degree reference in that fourth quadrant, the bottom right. And for the 340, I'm also 20 degrees away from the 360 degrees. So because I have the same reference angle in the same quadrant, I can say yes, these two angles are coterminal.